The stars were silent, cold, and endless. Among them drifted the remains of a once great fleet, the pride of the Rhinari Empire. 50 battleships had entered the war, but only 9 limped back. Broken and scarred, their hulls were torn, their reactors weak. And the once proud soldiers now looked upon the stars with quiet shame. Admiral Tissar stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Vengeance of Dawn, staring at the burning wrecks around him. His crest was dull, his armor cracked, and the air smelled faintly of burned circuits in despair. They had fought the machines of the Varric swarm for months, and the cost was unbearable. Their allies had abandoned them, their supply lines were gone, and now even their own repair docks refused to respond. "Sir," said his second officer softly, "Dock Command from the homeworld has denied our request again." Tissar's jaw tightened, his voice a low growl. "Denied? We bleed for the Empire and they deny us repairs?" The officer nodded, eyes lowered. "They said our losses are too great. Resources must be saved for fleets that can still win." The Admiral turned away, his hands trembling, pride burning inside him like acid. He had served the Empire for 40 years, and now they had cast him aside for a moment. He thought about ordering the fleet to self-destruct rather than face the shame of crawling home. But then a faint signal blinked on his console. An unknown frequency, weak but steady. Tissar frowned. "Identify that signal." The communications officer worked quickly. "It's human, sir." The word carried weight even in the silence. Humans, the youngest species in the Alliance, small in number, reckless, emotional, and yet impossible to ignore. "Put it through," Tissar ordered. The holoscreen flickered, revealing a human face, rough and tired, a smudge of grease across his cheek. "Rhinari Fleet, this is Chief Engineer Hale of Dock 37, the human said, his tone calm, confident. "Looks like you folks could use a hand." Tissar's eyes narrowed. "Dock 37? That's a human outpost, barely a scrapyard." "Yes," Hale replied with a grin. "But it's the only dock in range that's still working, and we don't leave ships drifting. Even alien ones." The human's words carried no arrogance, only quiet certainty. It annoyed the Admiral. Yet something inside him, some small spark of hope, refused to die. After a long pause, Tissar spoke. "Very well, human. We'll take your offer." "Good," Hale replied. "Transmit your ship data and approach vectors. We'll prepare the docks." The screen went dark, leaving Tissar staring at his own reflection. His mind whispered warnings. Humans were unpredictable, their methods strange, but their ships did return from impossible damage. Hours later, the broken fleet crawled toward the coordinates. Dock 37 came into view, and Tissar almost laughed. The station was small, ancient, and seemed held together by rust and courage. No fleet of their size could possibly be repaired there, he thought. But as they drew closer, sensors showed massive energy readings, far beyond what the structure should produce. Blue light danced across the dock's surface like veins of lightning. Small human ships moved with machine-like precision, guiding each damaged vessel to place, and through the comms came a human voice. "Welcome to Dock 37, Admiral. We'll take care of your ships like our own." Tissar did not reply, his eyes fixed on the strange activity below. The humans worked fast, attaching glowing cables to shattered hulls. Using drones shaped like metal insects, energy surged through the alien vessels, repairing cracks and reshaping armor. The Admiral felt uneasy, as if something alive was breathing inside the dock. He turned to his officer. "Are these readings accurate?" "Yes, sir," came the answer. "It's like..." "The station itself is generating power, not drawing it." Tissar frowned. Impossible. Yet the evidence was right before him. The more they watched, the more strange it became. Machines obeyed the humans as if they trusted them, responding not to code but to tone, movement, even emotion. When Hale finally boarded the flagship to meet the Admiral, he came without guards, without armor, only a smile. "Admiral Tissar," he said, offering a handshake. "We'll have your fleet flying again before you can blink." Tissar ignored the gesture, his voice sharp. "Your dock violates every known engineering principle. How are you doing this?" Hale chuckled. "Let's just say we don't fix ships the usual way, Admiral. We listen to them." The words made no sense to the alien commander. Machines did not speak, they obeyed commands. Yet when Tissar looked into Hale's eyes, he saw something unsettling. Belief. The kind of belief that had built empires and destroyed gods. As they walked through Dock 37, Tissar's suspicion grew. He saw humans working side by side with machines, laughing, shouting, and singing as they repaired broken ships. No fear, no hesitation, only unity. And the machines responded in kind, glowing brighter, humming louder, as if alive. At the heart of the dock, behind reinforced glass, a light pulsed, steady, rhythmic like a heartbeat. "What is that?" Tissar asked. Hale paused, eyes glinting in the reflection. "That, Admiral, is the reason alien fleets come to us." Before Tissar could ask more, the station trembled. Alarms echoed, and the pulsing light flared white-hot. Energy readings spiked beyond measure, and Hale whispered softly, "It's awake again." The Admiral's scales prickled with unease. Something inside Dock 37 was more than human technology. It was alive. And as the light grew brighter, Tissar realized the human dock wasn't just repairing ships. It was feeding something much greater, something the galaxy was not meant to see. The alien flagship floated beside Dock 37 like a wounded beast. Inside the station, every hallway echoed with the sound of machines and human voices. It was chaos, but a kind of controlled chaos that somehow worked. Admiral Tissar followed Chief Engineer Hale through narrow corridors filled with smoke, sparks, and laughter. Human workers ran past carrying heavy tools, shouting orders and jokes at each other. The air was hot, filled with the scent of oil and melted steel. To the Admiral's disciplined eyes, it looked like madness, yet every sound, every spark, every shout fit together like an orchestra. He had never seen such life inside a repair dock. "Don't mind the mess," Hale said, wiping sweat from his face. "We like things loud. Keeps the station awake." Tissar raised a scaled brow. "You treat your machines as if they can hear you." Hale grinned. "Maybe they can, Admiral. Maybe they just like knowing we care." They entered a massive hangar where one of the Rhinari cruisers floated in place. Its hull had been ripped open by plasma fire, blackened metal exposed like a wound. Tissar expected to see panic or confusion, but the humans worked with calm focus. Teams of engineers were crawling across the ship's surface, welding, patching, and linking glowing cables that pulsed like veins. The Admiral turned to his officer. "They are touching active plasma lines without shielding." The officer nodded nervously. "It should kill them instantly, sir." But the humans didn't die, they laughed, their suits glowing with light as they repaired impossible damage. Everywhere Tissar looked, something broke the laws of logic. "Your kind have strange methods," the Admiral said coldly. "Maybe," Hale replied. "But strange methods get results." A monitor nearby blinked green, and a cheer went up as the cruiser's power core stabilized. One human engineer raised his hand and shouted, "That's one more saved." And the rest applauded. The aliens watching from behind the observation window were silent. In their culture, emotion was weakness, but here it was strength. They could feel it. The way the humans' energy spread through the room, making even the machines seem alive. It wasn't technology. It was willpower turned into motion. Later in the station's mess hall, Tissar found Hale drinking dark coffee. "Your people are reckless," the Admiral said, "but effective." Hale chuckled. "Reckless is just another word for brave when you don't have a choice." He leaned forward, his voice low. "You think we're good at fixing ships because we like it, Admiral?" Tissar's eyes narrowed. "Isn't that reason enough?" Hale shook his head. "No, we fix ships because someone has to, because no one else will when things look hopeless." Tissar looked out the window at his fleet, glowing softly as human drones continued their work. He had never seen his people inspired by outsiders before. Yet now his soldiers watched the humans with quiet admiration. Some even tried to copy their techniques, but it didn't work. The machines only responded to human touch, then came the accident without warning. One of the Rhinari destroyers erupted in a flash of blue light. Alarms screamed, debris flew, and part of the hull tore apart. Tissar shouted orders. But the humans were already moving. Hale and his crew sprinted toward the burning section. No hesitation, no armor, just courage. "Seal the breach." Someone yelled. Flames roared, and the vacuum pulled at the walls, but the humans didn't retreat. They threw up plasma shields with handheld emitters, patching holes while the air howled around them. Through the chaos, Hale carried an injured alien soldier on his back, pushing through smoke and fire. When the breach was finally sealed, silence returned. Tissar stood at the viewport, stunned. The human team emerged blackened with soot, clothes torn, but smiling. One of them saluted the Admiral from across the glass, their hands shaking with exhaustion. "They saved 42 of your people," Hale said quietly. Next time, maybe we'll save more. The Admiral didn't speak for a long time. He had seen bravery before, soldiers charging into fire, captains refusing to surrender, but this was different. This was not about glory or honor. It was about something deeper, something he couldn't yet name. The humans didn't fight for pride. They fought because they couldn't stop caring. That night, Tisar couldn't sleep. He watched the stars through the window, the dock glowing faintly below him. He remembered Hale's words. "We fix things because no one else will." And for the first time, he understood what it meant. Humanity didn't just repair ships, they repaired hope itself. The next morning, Hale arrived with a data pad. "Admiral," he said, "one of your ships is almost ready for field testing. Come see for yourself." They entered the hangar again, where the cruiser Raven's Edge floated silently, its new hull gleaming like fresh armor. Human engineers stood ready, smiling with quiet pride. Tisar gave the order. "Power up." Engines flared to life, smooth and strong, systems responding better than before. Hale nodded. "We added a few improvements. Human touch, you know." The Admiral studied the readings, his voice soft. "You made her better than new." Hale smiled. "That's what we do, Admiral. We take what's broken, and we make it stronger." For a moment, neither spoke. The station hummed, lights flickering gently like stars breathing, and somewhere deep within Dock 37, the strange heartbeat pulsed again. Slow, steady, alive. Tisar felt it through the floor, through his armor, through his very bones. He turned toward Hale, eyes narrowing. "That sound. It's not mechanical, is it?" Hale's grin faded slightly, his tone quiet. "No, Admiral. It's something far older than any machine." The Admiral felt a chill run down his spine. The humans were hiding something powerful, and whatever it was the real reason alien fleets came to this place again and again. Dock 37 floated in silence, glowing softly against the black ocean of stars. The repairs were almost done, but Admiral Tisar could not rest. Every time the dock pulsed with light, he felt a strange vibration deep in his chest. It was as if the station itself was alive, breathing, watching, waiting. He walked beside Chief Engineer Hale through the lower corridors. The air was warm, heavy with the scent of ozone and metal. Strange symbols were painted on the walls, human words mixed with alien script. They glowed faintly, like energy flowing through veins of light. "What are these markings?" Tisar asked, running his claw along one. Hale smiled faintly. "Old codes, bits of poetry, maintenance prayers, things that help the system stay calm." "Prayers?" Tisar repeated, confused. "Machines don't need faith." Hale looked at him and said softly, "Maybe not, but the people who fix them do." They reached a massive sealed door at the end of the corridor. The metal was black and smooth, humming like it held the heartbeat of a star inside. Above it were engraved words in both human and Rhinari language, "The heart of Dock 37. Two guards stood aside as Hale pressed his palm to the scanner. The door opened slowly with a hiss of light, revealing a chamber that made Tisar stop in awe. The walls were covered in conduits of shimmering energy, weaving together like roots. In the center hovered a sphere of light, larger than a fighter craft, pulsing with deep red and gold. It beat like a living heart, each pulse sending a soft tremor through the station. "This," Hale said quietly, "is the Unity Core." Tisar stepped forward, eyes wide. "It feels alive." Hale nodded. "It is, in a way." He walked closer, his face lit by the glow. "This isn't just a reactor, Admiral. It's built from fragments of human and alien technology, fused together after the First Great War." Tisar tilted his head. "Impossible. No technology could merge like that without destroying itself." Hale grinned. "That's what everyone said, until it worked." He pointed to the glowing veins running through the walls. "The core doesn't run on fuel or crystals, it runs on emotion, human will, empathy, connection." The alien blinked slowly. Emotion cannot power a machine. Maybe not in your world, Hale said, but in ours. It's everything. Tassar stared at the beating core, the light reflecting in his eyes. The power flowing through it wasn't mechanical. It felt personal. The hum carried rhythm, memory, even sorrow. He could almost feel whispers, voices too soft to understand. Every ship we repair leaves a mark here, Hale continued. The core learns from pain, from sacrifice, from every soul that refused to give up. Tassar frowned. You mean the machine remembers death? Hale nodded. Yes, and turns it into life. The Admiral felt a chill crawl across his scales. In all his years, he had never seen a machine that could feel. Why would you build such a thing? He asked. Hale's voice dropped low. Because we got tired of losing people, Admiral. Tired of watching good souls vanish into the void, so we made something that remembers them. Something that can help the next generation survive. As they spoke, the core pulsed brighter, the air vibrating with unseen energy. Tassar's translator began to flicker, strange sounds echoing like faint whispers. He turned sharply. What is that noise? Hale looked uneasy now. You shouldn't be hearing that. It means the core is reacting to you. Reacting? Tassar growled. To me? Hale nodded slowly. It scans emotion, Admiral. Yours is heavy, full of loss and guilt. The light shifted from gold to deep crimson. The floor trembled, and the station lights dimmed. Warning sirens flickered on the monitors. Is it dangerous? Tassar demanded. Only if we don't listen, Hale said, rushing to a control panel. He placed his hand on a glowing pad, whispering softly, Easy now, old friend. It's just a visitor. The light softened slightly, the heartbeat steadying. The Admiral stood motionless, realizing that the human was speaking to the core like one would calm a frightened animal. What is it thinking? Tassar asked, voice quiet now. Hale sighed. It's remembering something. Maybe from the last war. Maybe from a captain who died saving his crew. It's showing us pain because it wants to remind us why we keep fighting. The alien looked at him in disbelief. You built a god from machines. Hale smiled faintly. No, Admiral. We built hope. They stood in silence for a moment, the core's heartbeat echoing like thunder far away. Then the lights flared again. A new reading flashed across the monitor, energy output rising, signal strength increasing, frequency expanding. Hale frowned. That's not normal. The core emitted a deep hum that made the walls vibrate. Tassar took a step back. What is it doing? It's reaching out, Hale whispered, sending something, a transmission. To whom? The Admiral asked sharply. Hale's face turned pale. To something older than us, something that once answered before. The hum deepened into a roar, the dock shaking violently. Outside, the stars around Dock 37 flickered like candles in a storm. The ships in orbit powered down automatically, their systems syncing with the core. Alarms screamed through the decks as every display filled with ancient human symbols. Tassar shouted over the noise, "Shut it down!" Hale tried, his fingers flying over controls, but the system refused to obey. The core's voice filled the room, not words, but pure emotion, sorrow, and power. The lights turned white, blinding, and in that moment both alien and human felt the same thing. The Unity core wasn't malfunctioning, it was awakening. The light from the Unity core faded slowly, leaving the great chamber trembling with silence. Admiral Tassar stood still, his chest tight, his senses overwhelmed. Beside him, Hale wiped sweat from his forehead, eyes fixed on the readouts that blinked like frightened eyes. Whatever it contacted, Hale said softly. It's listening now. Across Dock 37, systems flickered and rebooted one by one. Engineers shouted reports, but half their tools refused to respond. The core had sent something, a signal carried on a wave of emotion strong enough to touch stars. Tassar didn't know what it meant, but his instincts whispered danger. Later in the command center, human and alien officers stood together in uneasy silence. The data screen showed fragments of old transmissions, words no one could translate. Hale zoomed in on one symbol, a spiral surrounded by wings. "This mark," he said. "We've seen it once before, right before the first Unity drive test almost tore space apart." Tassar frowned. "And you kept using it?" Hale nodded. "Because the same test saved a colony of 50,000 lives." The Admiral's claws scraped against the floor. "You play with powers you do not understand." Hale smiled faintly. "Understanding comes later. Survival first." Behind them, in the shadow of the room, a figure watched silently. It was Commander Revik, a Rhinari intelligence officer assigned to observe human operations. To him, the Unity Corps was not a miracle. It was a threat. He had lost a brother in the last war, and he feared humanity's growing reach. That night, while the humans rested, Revik slipped into the maintenance sector. He moved like smoke, his armor masking heat and sound. His claws touched the main conduit that linked to the core. He whispered to himself, "The Empire will never kneel to human magic." He placed a small device, an energy inverter designed to destabilize reactors. Its red light blinked once, then vanished beneath the glow of cables. Revik turned to leave, but the station itself seemed to sigh. A low hum rose through the floor, almost like a heartbeat catching his lie. The next morning, Dock 37 felt different. The air was heavy, machines moved slower, even the lights flickered like tired eyes. Hale noticed first, power draws irregular. Something's feeding from the core. He ran diagnostics, his brow furrowed. "Someone touched my systems." Tassar joined him, tail flicking in frustration. "Your dock is falling apart, human," he said. But Hale ignored the insult. "No, Admiral, it's not failing, it's reacting." Someone tried to hurt it. Before they could speak further, alarms erupted, a shockwave tore through the lower decks, walls buckling under invisible force. Fire and light poured through the corridors, people screaming. The core chamber's doors sealed automatically, cutting them off. "Containment breach," shouted an engineer. "The Unity Core is destabilizing." Tassar barked orders, human and alien teams rushing side by side. Hale forced open an access panel, sparks raining down his arms. "We can't shut it down from here," he yelled. "The sabotage came from inside." The words hit Tassar like a blade inside, someone from his own crew. Through the smoke, Commander Revik appeared. His armor cracked, his eyes filled with fear and pride. "I did what had to be done," he shouted. "This thing will enslave the galaxy." Tassar's voice thundered. "You betrayed the fleet." Revik aimed his plasma pistol at Hale. Better one human dies now than a million later. Before he could fire, Tassar lunged, claws striking the weapon aside. The blast hit a conduit instead, energy ripping through the chamber. Revik fell screaming as light swallowed him. His body fading into the glow, the core roared, its heartbeat turning wild and broken. Hale staggered to the control terminal, fingers flying across keys. "We're out of time," he shouted. "If this keeps rising, it'll tear open space itself." Tassar grabbed his arm, then shut it down. Hale shook his head. "We can't shut it down. But maybe we can guide it." The wall split, streams of energy pouring into the air like rivers of fire. Dock 37 groaned as metal warped under pressure. In the chaos, humans and aliens worked together, holding cables, redirecting power. Hale's voice echoed over comms. "Everyone evacuate the lower decks now." Tassar refused to leave. "You'll die here," he said. Hale smiled, eyes reflecting the light of the raging core. "Maybe, but I'd rather die fixing something than watching it break." He turned back to the console. Entering manual override codes, the core screamed, a sound that wasn't mechanical but alive, full of agony and memory. A holographic image flickered above it, faces of humans, aliens, engineers long dead, all looking toward them. The Unity Core spoke without words, a feeling spreading through every mind on the dock. It showed visions of battles, of ships repaired, of hands reaching through fire to save others. It wasn't a weapon, it was memory given form. Tassar stood frozen, realizing the truth. "This station isn't powered by machines," he whispered. "It's powered by souls." Hale looked back, smiling faintly. "Now you're getting it." Then he pressed the final command, and the chamber was drowned in white light. Outside, the entire dock flared like a newborn star. Ships reeled from the blast, systems shutting down under the surge. Then slowly the light dimmed, leaving silence behind. Tassar opened his eyes on the command deck. The station still intact, but changed. The core's heartbeat was gone, replaced by a deep, steady hum, and on every screen appeared one simple message. Glowing in human script, Unity complete. The light faded, leaving Dock 37 drifting in quiet darkness. For a moment, everyone thought it was over. Then slowly, systems flickered back to life. One by one, emergency lights glowed red, soft and steady, like the station was breathing again. Admiral Tassar opened his eyes, the deck cold beneath him. He saw smoke curling through the air, sparks falling like dying stars. Beside him lay broken tools, shattered panels, and silent screens. "Hail," he whispered, but there was no answer. He forced himself to stand, his limbs heavy. Human engineers stumbled around, dazed but alive. They looked to him for direction, even though he was not one of them, and somehow, he found himself shouting orders. "Get medical teams here. Check the lower decks." Hours passed before they reached the core chamber again. The massive door was cracked open, light spilling through like dawn. When Tassar stepped inside, he froze. The Unity core no longer burned with fire and storm. It shimmered with calm, gentle gold. At its base stood a single figure, Chief Engineer Hale, motionless, arms outstretched. His hands resting against the sphere, energy flowed through him and into the core. He wasn't screaming or struggling. He looked peaceful, almost smiling. "Hale," Tassar called, running forward. But a wall of light stopped him. The core pulsed once, sending waves of warmth through the room. A voice echoed, not through speakers, but inside every mind on the dock. It was Hale's voice, soft and steady. "Don't be afraid, Admiral. It's working now." Tassar's heart pounded. "What have you done?" Hale's voice answered gently. "I stabilized it. I gave it what it needed, connection." The Admiral's throat tightened. "You mean your life?" Hale laughed quietly. "Maybe. But we both know life isn't something you lose. It's something you give." The light around him grew brighter. Across the station, every damaged ship began to hum. Panels aligning, reactors glowing clean. The alien vessels restored themselves faster than before. Machines once shattered moved like they were waking from dreams. On every deck, human and alien alike stopped to watch. They felt the hum vibrate through their bones. It wasn't just energy, it was memory. It was feeling, it was him. Hale had become part of the station, part of the core, part of something larger than life. Tassar pressed a clawed hand against the glass, eyes burning. "You humans," he whispered. "You never stop giving." A soft voice echoed in reply. "That's how we win, Admiral, not by killing, but by mending." Outside, the stars brightened as Dock 37 released a beam of golden light into space. It spread far, touching the wrecks drifting nearby, reigniting dead systems. Ships that had been floating powerless for years came alive again. The signal reached even further, whispering across galaxies, calling to the lost. The broken, the forgotten. Moments later, scanners lit up. Hundreds of ancient signals appeared, ships bearing the insignia of old Earth fleets. They had been drifting in deep space for centuries. Now, one by one, they turned toward Dock 37. Engines burning bright once more. The Rhinari officers gasped. "Those are human war relics from the first expansion era." Tassar stared in awe. "No, they're not relics, they're guardians." As the ghost fleet formed around the dock, each ship sent a single message to all receivers, a message written in old human language, translated softly by the dock's AI. "Humanity repairs what the universe breaks." The Admiral bowed his head, a gesture of respect rare among his kind. For the first time, he understood why alien fleets came here. It wasn't because humans had better machines or stronger metals. It was because they had something the galaxy had forgotten: the will to rebuild no matter how many times they were broken. Days later, the Rhinari ships left Dock 37, their hulls gleaming, their spirits renewed. Tassar stood on the bridge of his flagship, staring back at the small human station fading into the distance. He whispered quietly, "You saved my fleet, Hale. And maybe more than that." The comm crackled, and for a heartbeat, he thought he heard the engineer's voice again, faint but warm. "Keep them flying, Admiral." The fleet jumped into hyperspace, light swallowing them whole behind them. Dock 37 drifted in quiet peace, its heartbeat steady once more. Glowing gently in the dark at its center, the Unity core pulsed with a rhythm that was not human. Not alien, but both, together and in the silence of space. The legend of Dock 37 began to spread. A story whispered from one fleet to another, from one world to the next, about a tiny human station that refused to let anyone die alone. about the engineers who healed instead of conquered, and about one man who became the heart of humanity's might.